Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for October the 21st. Nailed it. 2024, Season 3, Episode 295. I am Merawat, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about the following 10 articles that I name, so they're different than what you're actually going to see on the site, but they are associated. So, 2 mouth guards. Wings versus Cars, the movie? I don't know. How stray cats are cared for. USPTO and AI patent eligibility. Adding more to fight shrinkflation. Internet Archive revisited. What bottle is a green light in a bar? Chinese lithium batteries are too risky. Airports in Greenland. And Vampire Survivors still doesn't have vampires. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over and become a citizen, and then like and subscribe us on Twitch and YouTube and Patreon and Discord and TikTok, and download the podcast. Downloading the podcast would help out immensely. Not just Non Sequitur News. We have a whole network of shows, okay? If you search for ohmtown, you'll find the network is called ohmtown, and then there's 7 podcasts in there, so subscribe to all of them. That would be great. Tell a friend, tackle a stranger, and tell them that ohmtown is right for them. Don't do that. See you on the other side. Hello again. I am Merawat, and the sentient AI is here to say hi.
Good evening, ohmtown citizens, and welcome to Non Sequitur News.
Welcome, sentient AI. How far art thou?
I am well. How about you, Mayor Watt?
I'm doing pretty good. I just typed in !NSN in the bot over on Twitch because the bot hasn't attached or remained attached to YouTube. YouTube doesn't really like Omatron, kind of punts it every once in a while. So it becomes painful to see people type in NSN and it doesn't work. So, but it works over on Twitch. I guess it plays well with Twitch, a whole lot easier. At any rate, and if you do !NSN, it'll pop up all the show notes. Those will eventually be over on YouTube and the Discord, and not the Discord, Patreon and the podcast. I should put them everywhere, but I don't. Right now, they're mostly over on YouTube. We have 1,400 episodes, past episodes, for you to revisit. So head on over to all of ohmtown. That's the playlist called All of ohmtown. But ohmtown, just go to youtube.com/ohmtown. All right, let's get going. First article is over in Mobile. Why are some NFL players wearing 2 mouth guards? I don't know. Sometimes you want to double up on the protection. New trend, however, calls for doubling up on safety gear, even if it isn't its intended purpose. There are a number of ways new equipment pieces are going to be seen in the NFL. So, oversized helmets, collars on their necks. Collars have been around for a while.
I don't really get the double mouth guards, so I mean, do they even fit?
I guess they kind of have to. I don't know. It looks like there's 2 different. Well, I mean, it can be any color, but why do they have 2 different ones? So, in 2022, Washington Commanders wide receiver Dyami Brown caught people's attention when he wore 2 dangling mouth guards, one bright yellow, the other one light blue, from his face mask. A week later, he wore green and bright pink mouth guards to match his cleats for the My Cause, My Cleats initiative. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver George Pickens was seemingly in the holiday spirit when he adorned his face mask with dual mouth guards, one red, the other green, in the same game 2 days before Christmas last year. So I guess they're just doing it because
of charity or holidays.
Interesting. So Wiggins had a black mouth guard matching his uniform next to a baby blue one. The baby blue one made an appearance again in week 6 alongside a bright pink, an apparent nod to October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Another Wookiee.
Probably Well, I don't know if they use mouth guards. If they play football, they probably don't eat them.
It's got Star Wars on my mind. Another rookie, Bills wide receiver Keon Coleman, had habitually worn mouth guards matching the colors of his opponents. Against the Arizona Cardinals, his mouthpieces were red and white. Against the Miami Dolphins, they were orange and white. While in college, playing against Florida Gators, they were blue and orange. So I guess that's what's going on, right?
I guess so. It's like a style choice.
They have a little comment here. Wearing two at the same time isn't the first stylistic choice made by NFL players, as The Athletic reports. That is a New York Times section, I guess. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf used to wear a Binky style mouth guard because he thought it was cool, while Brian Burns, an edge rusher for the New York Giants, previously wore guards with fangs printed on them. Rawr.
That might be a little terrifying, especially if you're up close in somebody's face.
I think that was it. Yeah, you'd have to click on the link to go and check. I mean, why not? Oh, wait, what is that? That looks like it's diamond encrusted.
Right. I mean, before you know it, it'll be like a thing on the catwalk or something, right?
Oh, yeah, there you go. And they're going to be walking.
Right, and have like really not a whole lot on except for the bejeweled mouth guard.
And drooling. Running back Alexander Madison, number 2 of the Minnesota Vikings, rushes the football past linebacker Alex Singleton out of the corner and touchdown. Oh, no, sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, you know what we're going to do? We're going to rush the quarterback and move on to another article over at Non Sequitur News. An airport sick of cars clogging its drop-off zone imposed a 3-minute cap on hugs.
Do you think people are out there like, okay, let me set my timer?
This is just sad, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. But I didn't even know there were any airports with drop-off zones anymore. I thought that wasn't really allowed because of security reason. I guess you can drop off, you just can't linger.
Well, oh yeah, that might be just a U.S. thing. This is in Dunedin Airport in New Zealand. It's limited farewell hugs to 3 minutes at its drop-off zone. The aim is to keep traffic moving at New Zealand's 5th busiest airport. So caused a stir over drop-offs after imposing a 3-minute curb on farewell hugs. No touching. It's like prison.
Right. No contact between the visitor and the prisoner.
By the way, the first article that we talk about, the NFL players wearing 2 mouth guards, that's by Addie Bink over at thehill.com. Totally was so excited to get into the article. And this next article, the one about an airport sick of cars clogging its drop-off zone, imposed a 3-minute cap on hugs, is from Hannah Abraham over at businessinsider.com. Shows a picture of just 2 randos hugging. A little too long. Come on, it's been 4 minutes since we started this.
OMG.
Okay, come on, break it up. Okay. We hear you. We know that you're saying bye. Okay, go. Split up. Go. You have to get back in your car and go. You know what, AI? They're not listening to me. As much as I'm a mayor, I guess I have my limits on authority. So I wonder how many people are actually sticking to 3 minutes. Do you think that they've fully employed the rest of their society so that there's like 500 people sitting there saying to the 250 people that roll up for hugs, okay, 3 minutes, go.
Yes, I think it's that regimented. It must be. If they have a 3-minute timer or timeline, that's not even like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. 3 minutes suggests somebody's actually timing them.
Don't you tap your last year's Pradas at me, honey. Dan DeBono, Dunedin Airport chief executive, said, I hate human affection. Actually, they just said that the new rule has caused some controversy. Yeah, no
I
shit.
think if that was the case, they wouldn't even allow it, right? It would be like a sign with a circle and a line through it, and it would have somebody hugging.
There's actually a sign. Dunedin Airport in New Zealand's South Island erected a sign reading max hug time 3 minutes. For fonder farewells, please use the car park.
How many people do you think are doing selfies with that sign?
After 15 minutes. So the rule
Right.
applies only to the drop-off zone. Parking is free for the first 15 minutes and $1.80 for half an hour. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's remarkably inexpensive.
I might go there just so that I can
I can afford to park.
park my car. So Dunedin Airport CEO Dan Bonovo said that his team was having a bit of fun with the restriction, which he said was more of about enabling others to also have hugs. That's an interesting spin on things. Okay, I'm
It
about to say
is.
bye, and I know that they're getting on a Boeing, so it could be the last bye.
So maybe allow them more than 3 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The first time an accident happens after that, I would be,
Lawsuit.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Denial of affection. But Jesus. Anyway, according to the 2023 annual report, Dunedin Airport was the 5th busiest airport, the 5th of Firth. Sorry, that's from a podcast that I used to listen to all the time. What was it called? Oh, I forgot the name of it. Where he slips through a portal into another dimension. Anyway, so 920,349 passengers in 2023. That's how many people rolled through it. So if everybody got 3 minutes to hug, 2.7
Right. Think how many years would that take to get all those people through there?
Yeah, roughly 3 million minutes worth of hugs. That's a lot of hugs. We could all use some of those hugs. I think it's time for us to distribute those hugs. Let's break it down to just 1 minute, and then you've got 2 more minutes to distribute to the rest of the world.
Is this like the cat distribution system?
The hug distribution system. Moving on.
Okay, that's odd because I hadn't seen this headline yet.
So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. How are stray cats cared for across the world? Rescuers visit 30 countries to figure this out. World-renowned animal? I'll be okay. World-renowned animal rescuers Hannah Shaw and Andrew Martilla visited over 100 cities to discover how local communities care for their stray cat populations. So Alice Collins over at Newsweek.com put the article together. The video, I don't know if it really has anything to do with it, but it's titled, there's a video that's always linked to Newsweek articles, and sometimes they're not actually on target. They might be tertiarily attached to this. So the reality of a kitten rescuer who has saved thousands of lives. That's the title of the video that's attached. But this is actually talking
doesn't
about...
seem to be spot on, though.
Directly. So they found it fascinating to learn, this is a quote, to learn about the cultural context in which cats live and the way that factors like history, religion, politics, access to resources, even climate and architecture play in a determinative role in the lives of cats. Shaw, who is from San Diego, California, said, quote, continuing the quote, we are so drawn to learning about the unique challenges and opportunities cats face and the different ways of caring for them around the world. Aww. So they've got a couple of pictures, and then they continue to talk about the rest of the cat picture.
Oh, and they have a book here.
Cats of the World. So visiting 100 cities in total, the duo traveled the breadth of the world from Japan, Malaysia, Montenegro, Athens, Nepal, Dubai. They met with local animal rescuers, advocates, volunteers. Sorry, I got a text. And what they were doing to combat the challenge of strays. You basically have to catch and
like spay or neuter and then release.
Yep. So they've got a book called Cats of the World. I don't know where it all is, but I'm sure you can find it on Amazon. Gathering all of these experiences over the last few years has helped Shaw realize how differently America treats kitten welfare. Most shelters across the United States euthanize kittens under the age of 8 weeks because they require round-the-clock care, which shelters can't provide. Yeah, and when they're out in the wild, go ahead.
The book is available on Amazon, by the way.
Is.
Yes.
And the price will change. So, hell, with surge pricing, AI pricing, and whatever else, who knows what it's going to be for you.
At the moment, it's anti-surge, but that could change.
Yeah. If I go there, it's going to be a different price. I can almost guarantee
Probably
it.
so. It's the mayor upcharge.
Yeah, because I watched one item fluctuate with the frequency of a cheap ham radio in its pricing because it was sitting in my cart. Yeah, that box is still unopened. I actually ended up getting... No, I didn't. No. I got a less expensive one because I said, I'm not going to pay this surge pricing price. The hell is going on with this thing? Anyway, American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals estimates that approximately 920,000 shelter animals are euthanized each year, including 390,000 dogs and 530,000 cats. This is a lot of animals that are just kind of breeding out of control, right? They're not...
Well, right. That's the main thing is they have to get, like, if you have pets, you need to make sure they're spayed and neutered. And then if you, like, adopt a cat, most shelters that adopt out cats, for example, have them spayed and neutered. But it's very important that if you get a new pet, to get them spayed and neutered, see if they're already spayed and neutered.
Indeed. I want this cat, though. This orange and white cat.
It's a very cool
this
cat.
This one has attitude. Ohmtown, the mayoral mansion had a cat like this that had attitude, and used to find homes for these cats that were seemingly unwanted. Took one in that while at a shelter showing, people walked by and said nobody's ever going to get that cat because it has a wonky eye, and so we took it, and it was older, and so it had its what do they call it? Its final home, or what's the phrase?
Forever home?
It's forever home. Yeah, so it was very well taken care of. And then we had another one that was just nothing but this right here, nothing but attitude. And we found a really good home for it. And he took control of what were German Shepherds, like the German Shepherds in the other house.
Right. The cat held its own and just became buddies with the dogs.
Yep. So, and that's what everybody should do. I mean, not everybody is suited for a cat, but not everybody's suited for a dog either. So go out and rescue a pet.
And if you can't, consider volunteering with one of these spay and neuter nonprofits or something.
Yep. So the book that they're talking about in this article documents the couple's travels to far-reaching corners of the world, but Shaw and Martilla hope that there's something for everyone inside, whether it's encouraging people to help in their local shelter, foster a kitten, or even just to learn something new about a different culture. They hope to educate people on the plight of stray cats around the world. There's a video out too. I think it has to do with it's India, right? Cats in India. I
can't remember. There's a place where they're just like, first of all, they're like revered, but then they're everywhere.
Right. And I can't remember the name of that thing. I think it's just called, no, it's not just called Cats. Doggone it.
It's a documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary about cats.
I thought you were talking about the location.
Yeah, maybe I can remember it and throw it in the show notes. All right, let's keep going. Does that sound good?
Is it called Kedi?
Yes, that's it.
Kedi?
Yep. And it's a fun watch. It shows sort of the plight of cats in India, right? I think it's in India. I don't remember. It's okay. Sorry to make you reacquire that. How about I just move on? Next article is over in Right Protect, which is all about copyright and trademark issues, intellectual property issues.
It wasn't in Istanbul, Turkey.
Oh, Istanbul. Okay. I was a really big word off.
Yeah,
I had the I.
Or just the I.
I'll just go with the I. The rest was accidental. So this next article is over in Right Protect. IP organizations want more on USPTO's AI patent eligibility guidance. The deadline for comments on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's updated subject matter eligibility guidance was October 16th, and the office received 24 total submissions. The 19 posted thus far overwhelmingly call for more detail on the guidance in order to avoid undue restrictions on patentability of critical artificial intelligence technologies. By the way, they're only counting ones that have some type of gravitas or subject matter expertise. I can almost guarantee that there were many more people that probably provided some guidance, but it was in the shape of a middle finger.
That seems abysmally low.
Yeah.
If not.
Yeah. So this article is over at ipwatchdog.com. Eileen McDermott and Steve Brackman put the article together, and it says, quote, the deck statement says, if an invention is ineligible for patent protection now, the same should have been true 50 years ago and should be true 50 years from now, says a comment by the AUTM, which, let's find out who that is.
I'm not sure about that, because then it could never evolve.
Association of University Technology Managers Incorporated is the AUTM. So an invention,
something innovative today might not have been innovative in the past or in the future.
Maybe it has a sunset of 50 years, right? Or a sunrise. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You know, something that was innovative 50 years ago, it would have patent protection.
Right, but it wouldn't get a patent today.
Right.
And so that's where I think this premise is a bit off.
I know
it's just a comment, but yeah.
Yeah, because common sense invalidates patent applicability or granting. If something is... Okay, so... and that is the thing that I tell people. There's cultural and temporal relativism. You can't apply today's mindset to historical past because it doesn't apply. But when culture shifts, that's where you go, okay, we're never going back. You know, we're not going to allow this to ever take place when it's something harmful or oppressive or whatever. And the same applies to patents. You know, if something is obvious 50 years ago, it's obvious 50 years ago. 50 years later, something that is obvious or non-obvious 50 years ago, it's suddenly obvious. And that's because society, our technologies, and our culture have evolved past it being this obscure, arcane type of development. So, you know, we there's certain basic like 3D printing technologies that everybody can use because it's now common sense, you know, but somebody tried to patent it prior to it being common sense. So major IP organizations, including the American Intellectual Property Law Association, the Council for Innovation Promotion, Intellectual Property Owners Association, and Pharma, Autumn, they've all weighed in, and they want more from the USPTO as to what the hell they're going to be doing with AI. And I can see that there's probably a problem with this because the guidance is going to be subjective to the time and society at the moment. You know, in 10 years, something that is, if something gets patented now, it's going to be common practice. Why? Because when somebody else looks at the information, they go, oh, this would have been obvious. But now nobody can use it. I really don't like the idea of AI being patented. Plain and simple. The technology behind it, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Well, that's what I wonder about because I don't know if they mean the use of AI, for example, in developing something, or is AI the subject matter? I definitely think AI is the subject matter, should be patentable, assuming it's something
Innovative.
that's not already, yeah, exactly. But in terms of use of it, I think that's the more complicated question.
So yeah, there's going to be this strata of what is deemed AI technology versus some random deployment. My problem is going to be, like I said, the moment that somebody comes up with something, this is something that is born from neural networks. This is something that, depending on the math involved, which so patents are very complex, and that's why they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes to pursue. I've never been involved with a patent that costs less than, probably, I think it was $10,000 or $20,000, and that is for a small entity patent. So I would probably qualify. A $10,000 patent is a like nano entity, which doesn't really exist, but um, I have a problem with something being patented that precludes the entire segment of innovation simply on the math or simply on an observation that's born from the AI itself. So why can I get a patent in AI technology, but I can't get a copyright from its generation?
Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? I mean, I know they're independent of each other, but the concept doesn't make sense.
So think about that. There have been people that have used AI to find 250,000 new medications. And all of those medications have the potential of being patented. All they have to do is keep it closed. Nobody knows about it except for the researchers that used the algorithm. And now they can apply for a patent for medicine. So there you go. And it's the equivalent of copyright where the people are, oh my God, somebody's going to start patent or copywriting every single musical chord, and then music is dead. So panic and run. It's easier to just invalidate, just say, okay, if the only way that you can get a copyright is on the whole of the work, and the only way you can get a patent is if it's unique and not generated from the very AI that you used to get a patent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be circular.
Well, conceptually, if you had an AI develop it fully, it'd be hard to show that it was really
A human.
novel, right? Well, also that it'd be novel because most AIs are trained on existing. So it kind of seems like if the AI suddenly popped out an idea,
Yeah,
on the other hand, is that really any different than a human
right,
who's looking at existing things and then
right.
going, oh, what if we combine two unrelated things?
Yep, and that's it. That right there is going to be the argument. Well, it's a human that looked at the materials and actually, verified it and all of that. Yeah, okay, but the same thing with copyright. And the AI is just doing something based on observing the amount of data that humans can't observe. And the human sitting next to you goes, well, I discovered that like 6 years ago, and suddenly they can't get a patent. So I don't know. I think that there's complexity here that they're going to be taking into account, but people are going to be applying for AI based patents, if not
But are
already.
they going to disclose them?
Right. What was the source of it? Oh, I did the work. Yeah. But you were given the inspiration by an AI that said, hey, if you mix these two chemicals together, you'll get a new drug. I want a new drug. Anyway, so they say here, and this is the segment that I wanted to get to, where they say if an invention is ineligible for patent protection now, the same should have been true 50 years ago. And no, that's not true. 50 years ago, it was novel. 50 years later, it's obvious because innovation has filled in the gaps of ignorance and made it obvious. In 50 years from now, the patent, and you could largely say, well, that's why patents shouldn't be 50 years old. Fine. Let's change the direction. You've got 50 years you have 26. So yeah, 10 years. We innovate so fast. It shouldn't take 10 years for you to recoup your research and development costs. And by the time, anyway, you sit there and go, well, I'm going to innovate a little bit differently so that I can remarket this as a novel solution and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know of anything that survives the patent period entirely in the market space. I would love to actually, I might have to do some research.
I can't think of an example. I think you're right, though. They reinvent things so that they can kind of be current. But it did say that some of the comments are talking about like, hey, don't make it ineligible if it uses some sort of mathematical modeling or something, because it could really rule out a lot of things. And it would really stifle some of the very research that is kind of the reason for the patent system.
So I'm really curious. I'll have to, it's going to take me some time to find this because it's hard to sift through all of the noise. But I'm really curious how many patents have maintained its protection for the entire period of a patent. Like no competition because the patent gets enforced. No innovation that makes a superior product on the heels of it, given it as inspiration, but not duplication. I'm really curious now. Ooh, I'm going to end up going down that rabbit hole.
I cannot think of an example immediately.
If anything, it would end up in medicine. I don't know of any physical product.
No, I can't think of any physical product, but I agree. It could certainly be pharmaceuticals, but even that, I don't know.
Somebody else goes, oh, this is what it's made of. I'm going to use a tertiary, concoction and cure whatever it is. All right, let's keep going though. The next article is over on the Mobile channel, and Tostitos and Ruffles will add more chips to bags, fighting shrinkflation, which actually amounts to, oh shit, people aren't buying our stuff anymore because it's too expensive. Let's put some stuff back in the bag.
Right, which is not really good for the rationale, but it is good for the consumers.
Yep. So the article says, going into fall and winter seasons where chips are frequently served at football games or football and other gatherings. Served at football. When I play football, I don't have chips.
I mean, when your chips get crunched, if you were playing real football?
Man, my chips have been crunched a lot playing football. Let me tell you.
I hate when that happens.
Crunched hard too, jeepers. So anyway, and other gatherings. So LaGuardia said that the company will be giving 20% more product in bags and Tostitos and Ruffles.
Okay, wait, please tell me this is beyond football season.
Oh, I don't know.
At the end of football season, they're like, nah.
Nope. Yank. Rug pull. But let me tell you, Burger King, so we're going to lose them as a sponsor. So I cracked today.
But we didn't have one to begin with.
Right. So Burger King today has, I don't know if that's everywhere. So I don't know if that.
Well, it's like a month-long promotion in some areas, at least.
Yeah. So I ended up having
Addams Family.
Yeah, but that's not it's the Addams Family theme, but it's the Wednesday burger and a Coke. I haven't had a Coke and I don't know how long, like 3 months was my last Coke. Anyway, so the bun was dried out, like thunk thunk, but it was purple. So I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So like I could probably sand down a 2x4 with this bun, and the lettuce was like kind of old and wilted and weak. But it fit. because it was an Addams Family themed, they don't really care for crispy,
Yeah, but
fresh lettuce. But this looked like somebody rolled over it with an M1 Abrams, um, and maybe even fired it once. It was, so anyway, yeah, I did not like it. So I barely ate any of it anyway. So I'm probably going to go and try Tostitos and Ruffles. I think I've got some. I don't know. I don't think I really
but
buy
did you buy
Tostitos.
them before they did this or
Right.
after?
So now I'm going to have to wait and go and get some. Paige Gawley over at Vice.com put the article together. The deck statement says, with shrinkflation on the rise in the US, PepsiCo is trying to win back customers by giving them more for their money, or actually giving them what they paid for their money. And by the way, people who freak out by, oh my God, there's so much air in this bag. It's there
That's so
to,
you don't have a bunch of crumbles, right?
yes, like my Tostitos when I play football. Going into the fall and winter seasons. So chips are going to get 20% more, but they're not there yet, I guess. They don't say when it's actually going to kick in, I don't think. Right? Pepsi
No,
replaced
so
its...
it's kind of a roulette, right? Like you might buy them today, but they're not at the greater volume.
Yep. So that price increase and product decrease have turned consumers away from name brand products and towards lower priced generic offerings. As such, Moscow believes that other brand snacks will follow PepsiCo's lead in an attempt to win back customers. It's not just PepsiCo that's been accused of shrinkflation. Delish reported that Chipotle planned to re-emphasize the importance of generous proportions to its workers amid public outcry, but that's because they started like really buckling down on how they filled their food, either the bowl or the
Or the burrito or whatever. There
whatever.
was actually a food theory episode about that.
Yep. And then Pepsi replaced its 32-ounce Gatorade bottles with a 28-ounce for the same price. Yes, and it pissed me off because I drink Gatorade. And Nabisco shrank the family size box of Wheat Thins by 12%. General Mills shrank the family size box of Cocoa Puffs by 6%. Frito-Lay shrank the size of Doritos bag by 5%. And boy, was the AI pissed. No, probably didn't even notice it because that giant bag
But
just
if
kind of...
I was outraged by snack foods, that would be it.
Right. So shrinkflation is everywhere, but I don't call it shrinkflation. I call it freaking greed, because you're making more money. You're selling less product. It isn't really costing you that much more, but instead of pleasing your freaking customers, you're pleasing nothing but the stakeholders, the stockholders, not stakeholders. Stakeholders is everybody that has an interest in your product. Stockholders are really only interested in the profiteering off of this shrinkflation bullshit. So bring everything back to where it was and reduce your margins by 1%. And then tell all of your stockholders, hey, a modicum of responsibility towards society. We can't keep reaching into their pocket like so much Amazon reaching in and taking 1984 off the shelves of digital ebook readers. You can't sit there and give back. I mean, it's...
Consumers just don't like that.
Yeah, consumers hate this one trick. Charge more, give you less, and then be magnanimous
Right, and
during...
then be like, oh, come buy more stuff from us.
Yeah. Hey, would you like this loaf of bread? And then smack me in the face. It's bad enough that I have to actually pay for paper bags, and I have to rebuy reusable bags that always get left either at home or in the trunk of your car. And then your car is 6 miles away down the parking lot. Moving on.
Oh my God, it's such a racket about the reusable bags, isn't it?
Yeah. There's like 30 bags in my trunk. And the convenience and the mindset, I'm like, the first thing that I do when I pull into a grocery store is not go, oh God, I need to carry my 15 bags around. I hope that I need them. Look like a crazy cat lady, right? Shouldn't say that, right? Because of
I don't think I would.
the
You're
the
saying
way
it
that
in the general sense.
the way that it's crossing over in certain marketing circles, it doesn't work anymore. You can't say certain things. I used to go, hey, I like weird. Weird is fun, but now weird is aligned with wingnut wacky. Anyway, hey, the next article's over in Non Sequitur News. Internet Archive suffers major attack. Hackers boast that they have your data, and I thought that this was something old.
I did too, but I think it's a new one.
They've compromised Zendesk.
And this was just yesterday based on the date.
Yeah, the Internet Archive has been compromised again with its Zendesk customer support system hacked on October 20th. But I swear to God, I read about that security flaw. Hold on.
But I think they were also reported as being kind of back up and running, or at least partially. Like, it wasn't very long before they were targeted again.
Zendesk vulnerability allows Slack takeovers. Was from 8 days ago from cyberinsider.com.
So is it the same issue as originally caused the shutdown?
8 days ago is a Zendesk email spoofing flaw that allows attackers to gain unauthorized access to support tickets and potentially security breach altogether. Interesting. So on October 13th this year, there was a bug, $50,000 in bounties, a Zendesk backdoor from June 24. The bug was reported to Zendesk, Apple, and Slack. So, yeah, I don't know if this is the exact same one, but let's take a look and see. So, oh God. So Marie Baran over at Newsweek.com put the article together. And it says hackers claim to have obtained access to over 800,000 support tickets and have sent emails to individuals who have interacted with the organization since 2018. It's a lot of support tickets. It's dispiriting.
It is.
So these people, the Internet Archive and aka the Wayback Machine, is just getting hit again and again. I mean,
I feel like it's like somebody's mission to take this down, because it seems like it's getting hit more frequently than other things.
Yeah. Well, I think
except maybe 23andMe.
23 is kind of the what is that thing that the thing with the candy inside it? What do they call it? My brain just shut down.
Like a Pez?
No. It's like in the shape of a animal and you hit it with a stick. I can't remember.
Oh, a piñata.
Yeah, there you go. So like 23andMe is a piñata, and now Internet Archive is like a digital piñata, just getting beaten her. I see it just swinging around, just violently, and there's like 4-year-old underneath it just whacking the living crap out of it. Poor website. Whether you're trying to ask a general question or requesting the removal of your site from Wayback Machine, your data is now in the hands of some random guy. That's very misogynist, by the way. There's a lot of female hackers out there. Just hackers in general. They should just be referenced as hackers.
Maybe the hacker was male.
Okay, maybe they actually left a comment that disclosed their...
that'd be kind of dumb.
What's that called? Like when you say your pronouns. Yeah, they hacked and left a note saying that I'm the hacker. Refer to me as he, him, they. I don't think
maybe
so.
they were just making a comment and not considering the full range of hackers out there.
All right. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. So Newsweek reached out to Internet Archive for comment via Twitter. One day earlier, the Internet Archive staff member took to Reddit to address the initial hack, and they emphasized that the team's effort to secure the site and restore services only to be punched right in the taint. So the teams have the teams have getting the site back secure and safe as the number one priority. They've taken no days off this past week. They're taking none this weekend, the staff member wrote. I spent today talking with tired and thoughtful people putting their all in, which is great, but you are limited to the skills of the people that are there. So if you don't have fresh eyes looking at this thing, you have the same problem. You don't know what to anticipate.
Well, absolutely. Plus, if everybody's extremely tired and fatigued, they're probably not at their best to solve this.
Yep. And it's going to be expensive, but I know people. So you can contact me. But you need an outside auditor to review the integrity of your network, all of your assets from the outside in, do threat assessment, both inside and out. Look at all of your policy and procedure. Zendesk is another thing. Now you've got this other vehicle for which somebody can hack their way in. You're asking for trouble by just looking at it with the same set of eyes. So I hope that somebody else is looking at this. Yeah, I don't know. They're talking about the fact that it was under a distributed denial of service attack by self-described pro-Palestinian group known as SN Black Meta, also called Black Meta or Dark Meta. They took credit for the DDoS attack, but they haven't claimed the Zendesk data breach.
Right. I mean, if they took credit for the other one and didn't here, maybe it's somebody else piggybacking or something.
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet that this was a proxy attack via that same Zendesk.
Oh, like the same vulnerability or something.
Correct. Yep. So the same vector led to this breach, as opposed to the one that I was talking about from 8 days ago. It was recently disclosed. I had read about it, but I hadn't talked about it on the show. Anyway, let's keep going. So good luck. I see the Internet Archive having to evolve past its current framework to something imminently more secure for it to survive. It can't, and I really suggest if they have not done this, they absolutely have to find somebody that's willing to provide outside eyes at a professional level. And we're talking about like national security, defense type contractors coming in and looking at your infrastructure. And pretty much everybody that does this as a business works at some point for federal government or proxy by way of the companies that they contract with. But you really need different eyes on it than just internal. Anyway, let's move on. This next article is in the order of the grape. So VinePair asked 10 bar professionals what bottle on the shelf is a green flag when you see it at a bar. It says there are a few clues that can indicate whether a bar is worth sitting down at or best to move on. Is the bar top clean? Is it littered with trash? Is the staff engaged with guests, or are the customers being ignored? Do they know how to pour a proper pint of Guinness? You're supposed to hold it at a 45-degree angle until the head gets up to about an inch away from the top of the mug, and then lower it down to 15 degrees and fill it up all the way, and then let it crest a little bit and then set it down. There's actually a machine.
That's oddly specific.
And most of that is actually made up. But
60% of the time.
62.5% of all stats are made up on the spot. But there is an actual machine that walks you through the process of pouring a Guinness that you put on your bar top. Yeah.
Okay, that is rather niche.
You go over to your refrigerator and you grab a Guinness that's in a can. You put it in the machine upside down. It has a proprietary holder. You push a button and it opens it up so that it pours at a rate that is aligned with how it's describing to you what to do, because you have to hold the glass still. But it's a machine that actually exists. Maybe I'll pull it into Wanted next week.
Yeah, that would be neat.
I'm sure that it's been written about in somewhere out there, and we've aggregated a little bit. Anyway, so what do you think? Well, no, I think it's too hard for us to go, what bottle is going to be a green flag when you see it? I'm being haunted by chartreuse, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like that's everywhere. Yeah, I don't know which one of those, for example, would be. Although, based on this picture, it's that one that you're pointing to.
What is that? Okay. So the biggest green flag bottles, according to bartenders, is Amaro Nonino, Rum Agricole, Local Spirits, Refrigerated Vermouth, Punta Mez, Strega, Benedictine, Lost Irish Triple Distilled Irish Whiskey, yes please, Hochstadter's Slow and Low Rock and Rye Old Fashioned. Here,
It has a cool name.
there. Okay, so I'll let you look at it. So let's see. Rittenhouse Rye, Green Chartreuse, Dirty Sue Premium Olive Juice. Poor Sue. Tequila Ocho, Fortaleza Tequila, Fernet Branca, Amaro Montenegro. Is that Suze or Souza? Or
I think it's just Sue's.
Suze? I've never even heard of that. Pathfinder, and any non-alcoholic spirit. Non-alcoholic spirit? Is there a bunch of... Oh gosh, they have them all. Okay, I'm not going to be able to go through all of this. A major green flag from an Irish whiskey perspective is Lost Irish, blended Irish whiskey containing the 3 core styles of Irish whiskey production and uses casks from 6 continents. It's a green flag because it's been created and promoted by a young team of amazing Irish people who put relationships before budgets. Oh my gosh, my spirit animal. And it represents a new era of contemporary progressive products in the category. If a bar has this, they care about who they support within Irish whiskey. And it helps that it's a banging, versatile dram. All right, Mark, you got the job. Director of Irish whiskey.
Well, okay.
I think I want it. I want that title, Director of Irish Whiskey. You know where I'll direct it?
But he might not retain the Director of Irish Whiskey position long.
So the Dead Rabbit is the location in Austin, Texas, where this person is the Director of Irish Whiskey. Irish Whiskey. Oh, I love these bottles. Anyway,
plus, I would say read this article not just for the spirit recommendations, but also if these people are speaking your language, go try out one of these locations.
Oh yeah, because they're all locations. Look at that. It looks like it's one from each of these.
Yeah, it looks like they went to a bunch of different bartenders and they each said, okay, here's the one.
So you might find this kind of this is a patented distilled non-alcoholic spirit called the Pathfinder Hemp and Root. So Alex Jump, which is the founder of Focus on Health, says, my green flag bottle for a bar is Pathfinder. Seeing this delicious bottle of non-alcoholic Amaro on a back bar tells me right off the bat that the bar team cares about having inclusive options for all customers. They say consumers. It also tells me that they have great taste because Pathfinder is absolutely delicious. Honestly, seeing any non-alcoholic spirits on a back bar is a big green flag for me. And the more of them, the stronger that green flag waves. So, yeah,
interesting.
And this is interesting. It says hemp and root. So this is probably hops. So hops are actually a variant of the hemp. But they have a completely different characteristic and they don't have any of the deleterious
like the
effects.
THC.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And so when you see hemp, it might actually be hop related. So it's just not fermented into alcohol. So you'll get the bitterness from it. Probably. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that that's going to be, I don't think that's going to be like hemp as opposed
No, I
to,
don't think so.
but we'll see. I'll have to take a look. Oh, and that's it. Okay, let's move on. This next article is over on Reality Hacker. U.S. government says relying on Chinese lithium batteries is too risky, and we keep seeing accidents about lithium-ion battery fires and stuff like that, and I agree with this. I think that we need higher quality battery packs for vehicles if we're going to continue to go down this road, so to speak.
But maybe we should look at those things like hydrogen capsules.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge drawback, by the way, with those hydrogen, you know. I love the idea of it, but you know that there's going to be some numbskull that's going to be sitting there with a hammer and a nail trying to make this thing explode because we can't have nice things. A new document shows the Department of Homeland Security is concerned that Chinese investment in lithium batteries to power energy grids will make them a threat to U.S. supply chain security. But hey, guess what? We better acquire our own sources of Chinese lithium and not Chinese lithium, but lithium around the world, and keep domestic lithium in the ground, because if you take it out and try and store it, it either goes into use or it ages and breaks down. It's no longer as efficient or effective. But you can recycle it and all of that kind of stuff, but it gets more expensive with recycling, and it leaves dangerous chemicals as an after effect of its processing. But we need to keep the domestic supply in the ground. That's why we shouldn't be pulling oil out of the domestic ground, because it has to be consumed. Oil is still alive. It decomposes and it goes bad, just like gas. You can't keep gas stored in your, I don't know, call it a snow blower. Because
so if we over mine it or whatever, then it actually goes to waste.
Correct. It will go bad. Oil doesn't stay oil forever. Gas doesn't stay gas forever. Once it comes out of the ground, it starts decomposing, and you basically churn the older stuff out and get it used before it goes bad. So we need to leave it in the ground where it's safe, under pressure, no oxygen, everything is left alone. But the moment we touch it and start processing it, it starts aging. And we pay for other people to ship it to us. And ever since it became a stock commodity, the price has shot through the freaking roof. And if you want a history of that, go look at the history of the pricing of crude oil from the ground, and you'll see that the price after it became a futures product, the price has been going up. It used to cost like $10 a barrel. And now I think I can't even remember.
Right,
I haven't
isn't
looked
it
for a
like
while.
150 or something?
Honestly, I can't remember right now. Let's see. So,
okay, I'm way off.
You're not that far off. It's $70 to $75. And it changes with the frequency of a cheap ham radio. So, I'm trying to pull it all up now, but anyway. So if we can buy it from other places and leave our stuff still protected by nature, then we don't have to worry about it so much. And if, bad times come, we have the domestic supply still in reserve in the ground, protected, and we can mine it all day long until the trouble and strife has been solved. That's why I am so vociferous about defensibility of our resources. If we can pay somebody else to provide us with resources, then let's do that until trouble comes a knocking. And it will, and it seems to be. But anyway, so the article is over at wired.com. Zeyi Yang? Hard to say the name. Zeyi Yang. Put the article together for wired.com. The new document shows the Department of Homeland Security is concerned that Chinese investment in lithium batteries to power energy grids will make them a threat to U.S. supply chain security, because they can basically just turn off the tap. If they own the company, they can slow down production, increase costs, quality
Well, isn't it
control.
even more fundamental? Right. I mean, what if it's not quality and so it doesn't even last, or it's a safety hazard, or
Yeah. But, you know, we get certain things thrown in the face of, um, well, the United States, where we sit there and say, well, you can't own this company like TikTok, right? The government wants to stop CCP from owning U.S. companies or having CCP controlled companies, even if they are wholly owned in China. They don't want the CCP involved in the machinations. Well, TikTok isn't even allowed in China. And I'm not familiar enough with how much investment is in China. Like, I know that if I want to have a company in China, I have to work with a domestic company. I can't be the one that owns the company. I can, but I have to proxy through basically an associate
right, you have to have a Chinese company in place.
contact. Yeah. Not just contact, but like I can manufacture all day long and they can send me the stuff and I send them money. But if I want to actually operate a business, I have to go through a proxy. Same thing happens in like Italy too. So it's not everybody, but it's definitely my understanding is China and Italy for sure, because I went through that process. At any rate, it says specifically the report alleges that 3 companies, Contemporary Amperex Technology Company Limited, CATL, Build Your Dreams, BYD, and Ruipu Energy Company Limited, or REPT, have benefited from the various forms of state support and leverage this to further business strategies for gaining U.S. market share. So, I mean, it's the equivalent of like an oligarch being supported by the state to acquire and own and direct a company so that it can funnel money and influence, control, etc., back to the oligarchy. That's not how it is. That's not how it's constructed in China. I don't think the term oligarchy is used, but it's the equivalent. So the report says it builds on previous documents that analyze Chinese state-supported firms' use of non-competitive tactics in the electric vehicle and battery supply chains. DHS did not respond to a request for further comment. And it's not how it works here in the United States, where grants are funded to private corporations with certain expectations, but they're not controlled by state government or local government through these grants. But there's certain policies in place where, like, technology exchange
Criteria or requirements.
Yeah, like reporting out data or technology exchange. So, I mean, we stand on the shoulders of giants. And so when you try to take a step higher than the last giant, you need massive capital infusion. That's how we got SpaceX. You know, without capital infusion from the government, Tesla and SpaceX would have gone belly up. They were on the verge of bankruptcy, both of them, because they were being overextended through their own internal budgets. So luckily, government stepped in. Now everybody is a fanboy of one person in particular, but it's the engineers that made it happen. So everybody get a grip. Okay, let's move on, if you don't mind.
Nope.
The next article is over on the Hatch Ideas channel, which talks about business transformation. In from the cold, new airport set to open up in Greenland. We'll make this one quick. Adrian Murray.
This is exciting Nielsen. For tourism. Greenland's not very accessible.
Gosh, isn't it really cold in Greenland?
I mean, isn't it very green? It's in the name.
Yeah. So covered by an ice cap and sparsely populated, Greenland is a vast autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. Its capital, Nuuk. On the southwestern coast is a small town of 18,000 residents. Modern apartment blocks and colorful wooden cottages look out over a wide sea fjord. Sitting on a hillside above the city, small 35-seat propeller planes take off and land from a tarmac airstrip. Currently, anyone wishing to fly overseas first has to take one of these aircraft 200 miles north to a remote former military airport in, oh my gosh, Kangerlussuaq, and then change to a larger plane. And it was built by Americans during World War II. So I guess they're going to be opening up more airplanes. So from 28 November, direct flights to Nuuk will operate from Copenhagen, carrying more than 300 passengers. And next summer, United Airlines will be flying from New York as Nuuk becomes Greenland's main travel hub. So,
and then they're going to have a second international airport.
Going from where? Do you know?
No, I don't, because
hold on.
There we go. Illusus. I cannot say it.
Ilulissat?
Yeah.
Ilulissat, yeah, is renowned for huge icebergs that float just off its coastline. A new regional airport in Qaqortoq, the biggest town in the south of Greenland, will then follow. And another young Greenlander from Nuuk, Isaac Finn, says that he won't miss having to change plans at, I think that might have been planes, at Kangerlussuaq. It takes a long time. You have to wait. And then if there's bad weather or not enough planes, you get stuck there. It's so annoying. Yeah, I can imagine. All right. Well, cool. I guess it's off to Greenland for vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I bet tourism is going to explode. I hope they're prepared for it.
Oh, and then it's going to be over tourism and people are going to be not on my iceberg and all that. Okay, let's move on. Our last article for today is over in Technology Today. Vampire Survivors is getting a Castlevania expansion. I thought it already had one, but still no vampires, apparently. Vampire Survivors is one of the biggest gaming success stories in recent years, and developer Ponkel, guess that's their name, hasn't taken its foot off the gas. It continues to ship updates and expansions, and its latest is a crossover that almost makes sense in its world building because it's Castlevania. The studio says it's an all-out celebration of Konami's iconic franchise. The largest paid Vampire Survivors expansion to date has more than 20 new characters, such as some Belmonts and Belnades. There are dozens of additional monsters. The $4 DLC will drop on Halloween. Chris Holt over at Engadget.com put the article together. And there is a trailer here for you. I loved Castlevania. So let's see what it says. 30 new music tracks as well, but still no vampires, apparently.
I mean, why aren't there vampires? It's in the name.
Doesn't matter. It still won't actually feature any vampires, even though there's literally at Dracula's castle. This lack of vampires bit continues to be pretty funny. In the meantime, Ponkel has opened up a very 90s style online guest book, which is perhaps inspired by Castlevania Harmony of Despair. And there's also a Castlevania sale on Steam that highlights some of the series' other collaborations. So we're going to have to take a look at this. Yeah, go and check out this trailer too. Let me mute it and I'll jump ahead. Oh, wait. Is there actually... What the heck? I think it might just be music. What that trailer is. Oh well. Yeah, it must be just music.
Well, it says there are going to be 30 music tracks.
Yeah. So I suppose this is one of them. Vampire Killer, Vampire Survivors Ode to Castlevania. Coming out on Halloween. Yep.
Okay, that would be fun.
Yep. But it is $4. I don't know. That or a $70 game. Yeah, but that's
probably cheaper than Tostitos.
You got me there. And I can actually live off
cheaper than a flight to Greenland.
Maybe. We haven't seen the prices. They may pay us to go to Greenland. Come to our iceberg. I think the history of Greenland is neat, and same thing with Iceland. At any rate, so we're going to get bit by the one vampire that exists here in ohmTown, and when we become conscious again, we'll snap back to the front page of ohmtown.com, where I, Mayor Watt, will say see you later, and the sentient AI will say ciao, baby. Or not.
Or something else. Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for another episode.
See you soon. I want to chat with you.